busy days, so we're going to talk about what this module can do for you today. First of all, let me just introduce myself. I'm Leslie. I may have met and talked with many of you already. I've been with Workamajig over 8 years now, and just very excited to be able to introduce this module to you. Before Workamajig, I have been in sales. I have been in those shoes, and I've had to report up to my managers, and those managers had to report up to other people. Big corporations have those many layers. And I've also worked at a very small independent group that we just needed to be sure that sales were coming in so that we stay afloat. So I'm happy to be able to show you the benefits of what you'll get out of using our sales module in Workamajig. So first thing is, I just lost my window, is we're going to do a quick overview, kind of what it feels like from that salesperson's role. And even I'll morph into two different views. I'll also look at it from the more of administrator side. Maybe you're wearing all the hats, so you're going to want to see all of the potentials there. So we'll talk about that sales person module, do a demonstration. And with time, we'll make sure to go into the back end and look at some of the setups that you may need to turn on. And do keep in mind that you may or may not see all the windows that I'm going to show you today. If you're on a more limited access into Workamajig, you're probably going to see more of what the salesperson role could look like. And whereas an administrator is going to be dealing with the setup. And they are going to make sure, or you need to make sure that you're given the correct security rights in the system to do what we're going to talk about. And we're going to always hold a chance for some questions and answers. And I'm not as good at jumping from show to demo to questions, although if I sense that there's a moment for good questions at that time, please be ready. You can send your questions in the chat, just like you said. You were hearing me okay, those work fine, but we'll be sure to end up with some questions and how you can find more information at the end of the hour. Request more training. Let me move into, sorry, I got to get my windows changed over. Let me move into what things will look like from us. Well, this is my manager's point of view. I'm going to first log in. Oh, if I can remember where I was. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and open up to the help guide just because that's what I tabbed on to first. And we will definitely have these pages and more of them for you to come back to. But as you see, there's going to be a full overview here of the items we're going to talk about today. Also how you might be able to get into your own training. If you've been in training and you never covered CRM, this is a good time to do it. If you're already using the system, there's no time like now. And there's some quick videos and more intense guides. So I'm hoping today's overview will give you some interest in looking more at the sales module. I'm going to log in as a regular user. And as you see, everyone logs in the same way and welcome, and they are potentially going to be logging in and landing on their favorite page, which if they're always in sales, could be the Today Sales page. Every user in Workamajig has some sort of Today page, and we're going to talk more about this page. But if you weren't there to begin with, certainly there's the salesperson module bubble. And when you click there, there's many places we're going to look at today. First of all was that Today page. Just like a project manager today or creative today, the salesperson today page is really just that. What's happening today? Do I have any scheduled meetings? Move my little chat box out of the way. Do I have some meetings coming up? What kind of conversations do I need to take care of and follow up on? Do I need to set up new meetings, etc.? So let's talk about this little basic page. It's really not that basic. It can contain a lot of good things. One, which might be those conversations, or we might even call them activities. What's going on today? And I can follow up and drill into what's more of the detail here and open things up and take care of what needs to go on. Read the conversation, even maybe reply to this conversation. Um, this, as you see, was just a reminder note of a conversation that I've met somebody at a conference and I might need to do a follow-up. So potentially I may want to save, um, I'm being actually asked by my manager to follow up with this group. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a save and follow up. I'm going to say, I've read this note. Let me go ahead and save and follow up and make my next follow up. Okay, so send whatever I'm going to do, send blah, 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 right? And all the details. This date is going to be what I need to do it, follow up on. Let's make it for maybe Thursday this week. It's not yet completed, and I can just hit save, and I can include all my important notes when I hit that save. I can also send an email to my manager saying this is what I'm going to do. But right now it's really just a note maybe for myself to take care of it on Thursday because I've got to take care of other things. So I'm going to hit that save. Here's my details. I can see who's written notes back and forth, and I certainly can close it out when I'm ready. Okay, so also because I set up a future activity, I'm going to see that in this coming follow-up and when there may be due. So just right here, unlike, like your creatives who get assigned to tasks, they have their tasks to look at. We're salespeople. They're really just worrying about, well, what do I have to worry about today or take care of today? What are important things going on? And here I've got a new opportunity, and just like the other one, I can click and open. I always find, in Zoom calls, my sweet spot to open it's a little tricky. But here, more details. Am I going to follow up? I might even need to send an email to my contact here, and I can do that through this window. We're going to certainly take care of following up with even setting up a new meeting, and I can get that shortcut right down from here. And as you saw, I had a meeting on my calendar before, but let's put this up for today as well. I'm just going to call it new meeting with client, whatever you need to call it. Do I need to invite someone else? Do I need to put notes in there? And of course, what time is that going to start? And let me put it in after our meeting today. Okay, so if you do that, send notifications, yes or no. And as you get meetings set up for your day, you do have those reminders right on your today page. So if you haven't used your today page as much, whether you're a project manager or sales or even a creative, you've got a today page that can show you even a calendar of future things coming up, your meetings for today, meetings potentially with other people. Okay. I've also identified on this today page some of my favorite opportunities. We're going to talk about how do we build an opportunity? How can we manage them? This is just a reminder. Maybe these are my most hot and favorites that I want to keep on top of. That could be simply that very easy for me to notice. Also got quick access to views. The word view in Workamajig means these are quick reports. Do I want to look for contacts? Certainly I can look for all, or maybe just those that are considered my contacts. My contacts would be, hey, I've created these people, and poor Jim just got started. She's only got one that's officially hers. Doesn't mean that's the only one she can see. But as you see, the word my might relate to your very individual connections that you've set up. Certainly I can look up conversations, by the way. You can look at what's coming up, but if you know you had one in the past, you don't remember it, you might want to do a report view. And you know what, conversation types are really helpful for that. We'll look at that. We're also going to look at views for opportunities, and we'll run a few of these later in a moment. But you know what, again, do I want to look at all of them by account manager? Do I have my views? Maybe not in this view, but I certainly could get one built that just called my opportunities. Or certainly when I go and open up one, maybe all I care about is doing a filter for my own. And right now I don't have the filter that I thought I did, which would have been salesperson. But anyway, and also leads. We're going to talk first about leads, but let me move off of this page to show you what else we have. Well, before I move off of it, just notice all shortcuts available to you before we leave on the today sales. Well, what do salespeople need to start? What do they maybe need to do something new with? Meaning, do I need to start a new lead? Do I need to start a new contact? What's the difference between the two? We'll talk about that momentarily. But just notice the new options that you can start right from today's page, even a time entry or a timer started for a time entry you're going to do. And then under more, I always say that, you know, maybe you need to manage your page and display it a little bit differently or not. So I always check what you have under more. Mostly it's the plus there. And do notice the black bar always comes equipped with a plus button. What do I have to do new? I may not be on my today page. What else could I maybe need to start something new with? Okay, so depending on your security rights will depend on what you see there. Global search, well, I don't know where to find something. Let me always go back to my global search option. If I know the name of something, I can put in a search. Maybe it's a contact name, maybe it's a company name, and if it's not any of the above, you won't find anything. There you go. Got a lot of things called test companies include, you know, you get the idea with the global search. And even if you've been popping around and going into records, your most recent 10 or 20, probably 10 or 15 activities or items that you've been into will be showing up on your recents bar. And that'll help you go back to something and update certain, in this case, lead information potentially. Okay, start a new conversation in this case, or make it even a favorite. Making somebody or a company or an opportunity a favorite, just simply that easy, and you'll find them in other views when you go to favorites. Okay, so let's move off of today. I haven't shown you much more yet for navigating. This black corner up here, I should say the corner in the upper left, is your navigation to other areas in the system. And I'm going to hit show all apps just to show you the single level of the upper areas of the Workamajig system is going to be your main set of bubbles. So if you get a little lost, hit the show all apps. If you got here by mistake, you can click done, go, oh, I didn't need to be here. It'll bring you right back where you were. Well, let's go back there. My bubbles, I've limited my gem employee here to just her limited needs for being a salesperson. She may need that everyone bubble for timesheets or expense reports, even that report center. She does have a creative bubble, so she can maybe see those projects like your other people can, because, you know, maybe she's helping with this or just excited for her progress. You may not ever need that page. These can be customized and hidden if there's no need for certain bubbles. And by the way, if you do that and you hit show all apps, this will reset it to the main menu, what it would have been without the customization. So if you ever lose track of something, that's how to find it. The salesperson bubbles, where we're going to spend the most of our time now at this point. We've already went to the today page. Let's click over into leads. I'm going to save the dashboard and graphs to another 2 more my manager's level, although your regular salespeople might want to and need to see those graphs and dashboards. If I click on leads, before I do that, sorry people, I wanted to point out the progression is kind of intentional here. Leads are in Workamajig. We almost didn't even include them when we moved into the new Platinum interface, but there was a lot of clients that we work with and those that we are gaining every day that do work with leads. And we consider leads, as probably you all, more like, well, our definition of leads most likely would be like people who sign up a list at the conference, say, hey, want to know more about your company. If you do those kinds of lead lists, you may have been shopping around for, oh, who's new companies coming into the area? I'm going to put them in my lead list. And I can do that right from this bubble with the Universal Plus. I certainly can add a new lead. And I'm going to certainly follow through the quick, easy of first, last name, company. In my case, I've got this GL company required. Not everyone will do that, but if you're working with 2 different GL companies, that would be required, and so forth. And maybe even a small number in an opportunity screen. If you've added a new lead, certainly save that. And let me just say new lead, and that's their new and their lead. And I can't type and talk at the same time, and I have to do my required field here. So let me get there. And, do I even know the company name? Maybe, maybe not. Do I have an opportunity number in mind? Oh, again, maybe not. It's not required yet. We're just talking a basic lead. However you got it, you may even import these to be a long list of just some stuff to follow up with. There is a show more. Anytime you see that, just click on it to see what you might be missing in case you want to fill in additional info. Don't have to if you don't want to. Once you hit save, certainly it's in the system. You can fix any mistypes, etc., and add more info as you need to on this, as well as start a conversation. Do you have maybe somebody entering leads for you? If they have done this, they can actually assign that to a certain person to take care of it. It just defaults to me because I've added in the lead, but maybe I go give it to my little gal that's working here as a freelancer, or little Alice here, or even that accountant's manager. Whoever, you can turn and give it away to somebody to take care of. Otherwise it'll just default to you by default. No changes, or yes, I did want to make a change there. And certainly we've looked at conversations already. And you'll notice that otherwise this is just really mostly a search page. It is not going to be anything more than that, other than a big view to get to views. Once again, we saw a look at a couple of those report views, and they're the same ones in this big large screen. It's also a quick shortcut back to adding more leads. Okay, so basically we're going to follow some leads further up, but let's just talk about the next levels here. Contacts, on the other hand, different than leads. We're going to be feeling they're a little more important. Contacts could be contacts that are part of your client list. Contacts can be also part of your vendor list. They're people in the system, the contacts that have more representation. Now, again, big search. If I just hit search, I'm not getting anywhere. Do I have, a company record in here? Oh, I'm thinking company records, aren't I? Not contacts. So if I want to look for a contact again, are they in my contact list? And if I'm not finding one, it's kind of hit or miss, just like any global search. So again, your views are going to be very helpful. So keep in mind, contacts can be clients, or what are my contacts going to look like? And again, does Jen have any of her own that are contacts? Now, see, it's not the same as our new lead that I made a moment ago. It's just a contact that's part of a company record that might be part of an opportunity. In fact, I see it is, and I can certainly go in from this view to get into more detail. I'm going to really leave the detail about these opportunities to another screen just to show you the exciting piece here under opportunities. But let's move one layer up. Not every company record has a contact, so you may have different views here. Again, I keep hitting the bubble, which is a search or a quick link to more views. New company record. When I'm adding in a new company record, it comes over as a company default. Maybe I want to add a contact at the same time. Again, contacts will be a higher level than just leads. We're going to follow somebody from a lead all the way up through contact, all the way into company, and maybe even that opportunity or conversation. Okay, so let's move on past just the orientation there, and let's talk about opportunities. Just like the other blue pluses, if I know I have an opportunity, I certainly can start one. But I'm going to go right into the fun view of our opportunity window. And you may be familiar with this type of layout. It is kind of an opportunity to drag and drop. Now I'm in as Jim. Is she seeing everybody's stuff? Maybe she doesn't care about anyone but herself, as most people do. And so she's just going to click on her name because she's going to just search by people. And in fact, she can hide the rest and just concern herself with those that are part of her opportunities. And, you know, she may even know that JoJo's Coffee House has already been talking to her, and she's updating as soon as I can get my drag to work. There we go, into the new level. So this is a draggable screen to update opportunities, certainly see opportunities, even start a new one. And if I have a current one, certainly I can click in for more information. I can see that conversation that I may have already seen earlier. Maybe I'm ready now to do a follow-up. Certainly, this is what I've got as a follow-up. Am I going to start a more formal email and send an email to the client, start a new meeting, etc.? Notice I have a pencil here for the opportunity. Now you noticed I did just drag it to the proposal requested field. When I click in the pencil, I may just be doing it all more like the original way, meaning before we had this board that was not brought in until we had platinum. Well, we needed to go into an outcome or this area here and actually give a more here we go stage and update it that way. Is it proposal requested like we just saw here? It's already updated the opportunity. So I can manually move it, proposal delivery or delivered. And if I do it from here, it's going to move it on my board right there in the background. So you certainly have numbers of ways to do things. And also let's talk about this opportunity of the revenue. We have an informal number that the client told us they might have had as a number that they're working with, and the probability is 90% I'm going to get that amount. Maybe it's going to be 12 months when it's once I win the opportunity, it's going to run for 12 months. And I can even forecast when I should be closing on this opportunity. And by what the client told me, I think we'll have nothing to worry about by the end of May. We should have this closed, and then it'll run for 12 months. This is a sophisticated piece for more of a forecasting tool. How many times did your managers ask you for a forecast of when you think you'll win the opportunity? This can help you communicate that to them. You can get more refined on this outcome, or I'm sorry, for this opportunity. Now the outcome, it's not yet finished. We don't award it. It's not awarded yet. It's not canceled, not lost. These outcomes can be modified by your group if you need different types of outcomes. So we're going to want to come back to this. But our status, as you saw, was a way to bring it across the board if I'm doing it in this window. And maybe there isn't even a project. So I'm jumping ahead of myself. So let me just save that and talk about that project potential. Let's go back though. Before we do anything, let's talk about our leads. And let's find a lead, one of our leads here. Let's talk about Barney. He's my favorite. As you saw, I had favoritized him earlier. And I have next to this name a convert. Barney's told me he's interested in doing some more work with us. Not just that we met at the conference or whatever. He's more interested, and I'd like to move him out of my lead information. So I could do that by doing a convert. Now, what is the importance of this converting? Well, I don't know about you all, but when I was in another company and they had another type of system, I always was having to update things from one list to another. Or if I didn't, they were stagnant on the old lead list, and they finally made it to more important stuff. And I was always having to have duplicate records. This convert lead option means that, this Barney guy, he's interested in us. I'm going to make them beyond the lead level. I'm going to create a contact with this conversion. And of course, I can give it to a new owner or keep it for myself. I can update whoever I'm giving this away to if need be with an email. If we want to work with folders, that can help you organize, keep things private if need be. Now, at the same time I'm creating this contact, if I don't already have a company record, then I would create it now, or maybe I did put a record with this one, a company name, and I've already got it to transfer over for me. And at the same time, do I need to create that conversation, or am I just creating this opportunity? And a lot of times that's why we're converting a lead to a contact, is we are creating an opportunity. And if I want to do it in one screen, I've got this ready. As soon as I hit save, I'm going to have details. So, hot, new op, right? Whatever you need to describe it as. What is the sales amount opportunity? Maybe he's told you more money is really there. Interest confirmed is my stage, or maybe we're really into a different level. I'm going to go ahead and pop them into, I'm really jumping ahead. Let's keep them at the second level. Status is open and not yet closed or canceled. I may know of a project type. If you are using types, you certainly can identify it now. Okay, so otherwise you don't need to. It's just really what do you need to use on here. And there are numbers of ways in our contacts, by the way, to put in a marketing group, which I failed to show you when I was in the contact record, and I'll do that here shortly. So as you saw, when I created an opportunity, I got this new window to pop open. It moved me away from the other screen, but what is it that I've got? I've got my opportunity screen. I'm going to be able to certainly update it from here, add more conversations, and do more things with it. Let me just go ahead and close it. What did it do on my opportunity window? It gave me, and I'm just going to pull it up again for Jen. I don't know if a way to keep that to always permanently show that way. It may be in security rights that you can figure out, but there are going to be different things that'll show up here. And I may have lost track of my guy because I've made some changes. So if you're not seeing what you need, do you need to, show other summaries here by other people? And we had requested proposals in here. So look for everybody, look for yourself. Let's follow our lead down the road. So remember when we had them in leads, I'm going to go back to my today page to just show you that I don't have to keep popping over to my navigation area. Let's go find leads. And the guy that we were just talking about, oops, let me go to my leads. Are all leads by type, by lead owner, whatever you want to look for, can search and do whatever. So we see all of the leads, but not the one we just converted. Who'd we just convert? I'm gonna have to remind myself it was Barney, right? Where did he go? Well, he moved off of the lead list because he got converted over into contacts. And now if I go look at contacts and my contacts, or whichever way I want to look for it, again, I can search just for mine, or I can go look for more. And if I go look for Barney, he certainly is going to be found. And he is in that contact list. Does he have an opportunity? Does he have things going on? We'll see that under his connections. Show more will give you other details as you need to, address areas, etc. The favorite has fallen off only because he's now a contact. You can maybe make him another favorite, etc., etc. Okay, so let's take a look at the opportunities that we've got over here. If we're moving forward, we can be moving forward, making them live or making them more advanced. Okay, I wanted to notice that we have certain things here that we can make do with an opportunity. Let's take a look at this one, see if it's in the same status. What I'm looking for there are things showing up down here that have shown that I've got some advanced settings here. I'm going to make Barney my favorite opportunity if I can find him again. And if I can't find them, I might just say, you know, what's the name of it? Because I can't search sometimes. There's just so much on the screen. And so if I find that I've got Barney over here, I'm having trouble because I have changed names on this while I was practicing today. So let me just grab one that's ready to roll. You can see who owns certain opportunities, even by the names down here. And certainly here's my principality one, a new one that I started. Interest confirmed. Maybe we're going to do some other things. Maybe I know that they're needing an opportunity, a more of a formal opportunity estimate is my word that I'm trying to think of. So how do I know what to estimate? I can say what the basic number was that they told me, but I need help from my project managers. The big thing that you've got with Workamajig going for you is not only tracking that opportunity, but are we going to use what we call enable advanced features? Or maybe we just want to start simple and say, you know what, this new restart construction opportunity is something I know that they need more of a formal estimate for. I'm a salesperson. I don't know what it requires for a project of sorts like this might read, needing a new logo, a new motto that they want to follow through, an ad campaign, whatever. So I may just as that salesperson request a new project. So I have several in here. I'm going to just go to this basic one. You may have one basic request form in your system. If you don't have any at all, that would be a future call you might want to require. And say, you know what, this opportunity requires me to get an estimate. I'm going to call it new construction. And I might even call it an op. And I'm going to fill in this request form. Where this request form goes is to my project management team. Now I've got to create a brief I can fill in all the good details that might be needed. I'm not going to really spend time filling in the dots, but you see, you know, do they need a direct mail piece? Do they want maybe a print ad? Maybe they're going to need some billboard, who knows? Anything else, maybe some due dates, etc. Do they have a budget? Well, maybe I'll tell them that I just found out they got 150,000 or whatever, etc. And then I'm going to turn this in or add more spec sheets if need be. But at this time, I'm just ready to submit it for approval. That's all I do. I'm a salesperson. I am not starting a project. I'm just knowing that I need more detail to get a better creative or estimate to this team. So I've started or requested the process to be done that way. Anybody in this group have questions at this point? Let me take a breather and see if any of you know about or use project requests in your team so far? Well, yeah. Okay, so a few of you may have seen request forms, didn't know what to do with them before. Possibly that would be an interest that you may have in order to move further. It won't do me any good as a salesperson with the request other than letting my team know, hey, I've got this interest, I need your help. Maybe they're just going to pull together a quick estimate from what that looks like as a project. I could also use some sort of a make project live option. If you notice in Principality that I could actually enable advanced features instead of requesting a project. So I'm not going to go through this too deeply other than to show that this would be an extra layer. Instead of a request for a project, I may need or know enough that I could do the enable of advanced features. And am I starting or requesting just a project at this time? Maybe they've got enough discussion going that I think I need a campaign. But at this point, I would maybe want to know what type of project that they're looking for. What kind of project description may sound like what they're looking for. And I'm going to pick a template that I could copy from. Now, this would be potentially done from that salesperson role. So the type of project would be named by that template. And do I work with a special team or not? And I'm using the project status, keeping it as an opportunity. But the real bonus going on here, I want you to take mind what I'm getting to do as soon as I hit save, is that without making my contact, what was a lead, now a contact, maybe a full sale, without making them a client, I can actually start what we call a pseudo project to give us, meaning the sales team, me, and even project managers, a real chance to get very thorough estimates figured out. And here you go. It comes right open to an estimate. You may have one already in your template, or we can certainly just go ahead and create one really quickly on the fly, and it would pull from whatever the schedule might have had in the project. Mine did not have any already pre-made, but that's the idea. It would be a pre-made template that you could copy from and be able to really pull together a good conversation with your client, maybe on the fly. So those are some of the keys. And what happens to an opportunity project? Well, we did that with Principality, right? So when we're working on this, we've added more conversations. Notice we may have a schedule that's part of that template. I can see what might be required, and even what types of services are going to be made. And I'm going to go back and look at that estimate again, because it looked like it just didn't do what I wanted it to do, which was pull from schedule. I think I'm dealing with restrictions. That's the first time I've tried using the sales module with a salesperson role, and I'm running into issues. So I'm going to go in now as the manager role, my comfort zone, that admin who can do it all. So this is a good example of, if you can't do what I'm going to be showing you, then it's because you don't have the right security rights. And instead of my fumbling with not having those security rights that I thought I had given myself when I got prepared today, I'm going to go back in as if I'm now that manager taking care of the next steps. Maybe Jim had to give it away to me, because now it's that next upper level. I'm the senior salesperson. I may be taking on those favorites. Notice now on my sales today, this is my sales for Leslie. What are her favorites going on? What are her totals? She still has views. She still has her own active activities and conversations to take care of. And she may have that same shared meeting as Jim had earlier. Let's look at back up a moment. Let's look at this sales dashboard. What are your things that are listed in the stages, that interest confirmed stages? Who's in that bucket? I can take a look. I can look even if it's not my sales to worry about. Maybe it is, but maybe it goes to Jim to take care of some of these. Where are things listed? We can modify these report views to show whatever you need. Quick access to somebody's important to you Twitter feed, if you want to keep involved with that. You will be able to see if there are some neglected opportunities that are being neglected in the last 7 days, 30 days. You can drill in for more info. You may even have sales goals that people have set up. Either you've set it up for your team, or you might be on that team to meet those certain sales goals. And then how do you obtain a goal? Well, it's by not just closing a sale, but actually getting paid for that project. And so you'll be able to see, well, have you met any goals? What's your goal total? What have you met for the year? And man, I was doing real good last year. Now 22 has hit and everything starts over. You're frustrated, right? But you'll be able to kind of click in and see what you've closed to date. should have seen what I had populated for 2021. And again, quick access to views. Views are just a quick intro or introduction to those opportunities. If you don't want to move off of this page, you don't need to. That's your sales dashboard. And as a manager, you may be even more interested in more of those sales graphs, what's happened year to date for the company. All this can be customizable. If you don't find that yours are working, it's because you need to have somebody modify them and get them to work and run. They don't just auto-populate without any effort from somebody, but we may have defaulted some basic ones there for you as a new company. So let us know at support@workamajig.com if you need to get your graphs working better. Again, our leads, our contacts, our company records, our opportunities. And I haven't talked about the marketing group, but I'll do that momentarily. So as things are ready, are we, well, principality, we mentioned, is it that make project live? Let's talk about that. We wouldn't do it at an interest confirmed, but the opportunity project itself is right here, and we'll be able to open that up and go and look at either building that better estimate, building that schedule out for somebody to deal with. I know what I was trying to get to in this. Remember, I couldn't get to that estimate. Well, maybe it needed a different level of security, because what I wanted to happen was to pull from the schedule. And yeah, what was that basic schedule going to look like? What is it going to look like in total labor? And again, this one has a little issue just from the way I started it, but that's the idea. What would that estimate total out? And your salesperson should be able to have that opportunity to pull those quick hours that came from a template, be able to get those hours figured out. At this point, what's going on? Do we need to update that? If you use this type of management, I know we did in my last sales position, I had to show these different levels to show that, are we reaching the right decision makers? Are we getting to the right process for winning the business, certainly? And then what are the details that we need to keep an eye on? At the end of the day, remember, we have this project that we want to look at, and let's go look at it in our regular project view. And I mentioned we had project, let's say wherever we were, and go in projects. And projects, if they're in an opportunity, might be considered a live project, but it's still, again, not with a client potentially. Our project settings looks like everything like a project would be, but we're not billing yet. We're just trying to maybe track time, figure out what the scheduling needs would be, what would the estimate needs be, all different kinds of things that we can deal with this, and even make it a favorite from this window if I like. Okay, at the end of the day, we go back to those opportunities. We're going to want to win and finalize things. So when we get to a final project, it's signed contract. We got that stage showing in different places where you can update. We're going to need to make sure to finalize things. So we're going to now take a project that we've been working with and that opportunity to help us really bring it to fruition and make it live. What would happen? Well, this one already had client details given. This was an existing client that was going to do new business with us. So yeah, are we just needing this opportunity to be live? What would be the benefit? Well, it would carry over all conversations, all future needs are still being tracked. All the time that you've spent on that opportunity could be tracked. Let's take this brand new one as an example. If this one went right from interest confirmed to winning it, well, then let's update the opportunity to, hey, they've asked for that contract, and it may be just like it is. We're not closing it out. We're just going to give an outcome of awarded, interest confirmed, of signed contract, and it's still open. Maybe I'm working with it. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and actually open is one thing. The next steps is what you want to do. But let's And oh, here we go. They have updated this. So when you get down to it, you've updated your status, your outcomes. When are you ready to close the opportunity project? Or do you not want to just close that out? Do you want to make that project live? And as you see, it's just a quick link. And if that's not yet a client, guess what we get to do at this point? We're going to make him a new client, new lead, or new win. Let me just do that, right? NW for new win. And whatever we need here, we make him now a client. We can save. And we can still, and that was from make that project live. And guess what we'll get when we get into the opportunity project? It won't be a project anymore for opportunities. It'll be an actual project. So before I run out of time, I want to make sure we open up the window for more questions. And I want to go into also our contact list to show you that we can work with marketing groups. Let me explain. If you ever do any email campaigns, well, we have needs to email our new leads. You know, what is it that we want to send these people into leads? And you go, well, Barney's here, but he's not a lead. You know what? He's actually a contact now. If you go back to this, you'll see I have 10 contacts in this list and 2 leads. Maybe I need to update my marketing group, but it can be whatever it should be. It stayed with Barney because at the Barney level, I had him, my contact, I had him in the opportunity and the marketing group, I should say, that's in your contact details. Well, he doesn't need to be in new leads anymore. I'm going to move that, but let's put him in other marketing groups. Yeah, we got a big spring campaign and maybe he'll be interested in website. And maybe you have like a Christmas list, or, you know, the Mardi Gras coming up or has passed, but you know, whatever, you need to send big emails out to your teams, your content, you know, your new contacts, your new clients, etc. Put them into marketing groups and update them as you need to. And then when you're ready to use your marketing groups, this new lead, Barney, will have fallen off. And now we have no Barney on here, but the rest can be ready for that lead. Or in my spring campaign, you'll see Barney now in here. And maybe I'm just going to either send them all the same conversation. Oh, here's remove from list. Or maybe I just really need to print this off, exit it out, you know, export it out to your big email group that you work with to do mass email campaigns. So that's basically what we mean by marketing groups. Where do they belong? That's the purpose of it. It'll help keep your list updated with most newest and greatest. And you can add new marketing groups as you need to. Again, I hated the updates. Always my lists were out of date. I'd have to manually delete a CSV list and put them in another list. The system will keep up with that altogether for you. And so I believe, unless we have some questions, I want to make sure we look at setup. Any questions on the views that we have shown you today? Okay, I don't see anything. That's good. Either you've fallen asleep on me or we've covered what you were looking for. Let's take a look at the important admin setups area that you have control on. What do you want to show? Do you need to have a custom menu? For your teams, you certainly can ask your admins to set up a custom menu. That means, hey, my people get overwhelmed with too many bubbles to pick from. I want to pick out their favorite needs. I have some groups that do a marvelous job on the custom menu. It does require a little extra time to do it the first time, but once you have it set up, your people will be happy by security group. You can customize that. Security settings, certainly important that your salespeople, you saw I ran into some issues as a salesperson. Can that salesperson group do what they need to? Can they view certain pages? Can they, more importantly, do the contacts of, let me get into contact management? Can they use contacts? Can they add people to contacts, to leads? Can they merge things together, use companies? Most of the times this may be added in almost all bubbles for this sales group. That's totally controlled by your security group. So security rights are certainly important. How to update a drop down in the opportunity list. Thank you for that question. Ours currently doesn't have a digital opportunity. Good, thank you for this question. So that comes from our global list. So let's talk about, we've got all kinds of things on our global list. We certainly, actually maybe contact management. Let's just take a look though. There's that project status that we mentioned for a moment while I'm in here. The opportunity basically could be that pseudo project, and is that project considered active? So we can kind of schedule it out, figure out what it estimate needs, etc. Are we allowing time and over expenses? Well, let's get to your question about status, and I'm going to go to contact management. Opportunity stages. Certainly, what stages do you need to call it? We have the basic 5 or 6 here. Do you need a cancel stage? Not really, because this is just dealing with the board that's active working opportunities. A lot of people go, oh, it's closed. Well, where do I find it? We go back to our views. So these are your open activities or opportunity stages. Opportunity status, open, closed, postponed, and your outcomes certainly are important. So you're looking for an opportunity list for digital. Well, then that would be going back into more of a type than a stage or status. Think about that. That might be more like you need that opportunity type. You need a template called digital. I'm thinking that's what you're asking for, because you can name your opportunities whatever they might be. It's a digital opportunity. What stage is it in means how hot is it? Is it getting display order is telling what order we want the system to show it all the way down to the signed contract. And then certainly your status, is it open, closed, postponed? The outcomes, that's where I just was. Now we also have, maybe you're going to want to report on the company types that you're reaching out to talk with. That's certainly a list here. Meeting types, I mentioned you might want to run reports. Hey, what kind of meetings are we running? How many times do we do client meetings? This is also very helpful for future reporting. So yeah, this isn't it. We have a different type of media, but need to have a digital option in the drop down. So I am missing some of what you need in your answer there. So I would really recommend with that question to send that to your account manager for a question for future follow-up. One, it could be just a simple email that we get you that answer to. It's support@workamajig.com. Or maybe we really actually would want to meet with you and get that deeper dive. The opportunity type, digital option, are you talking about you might need more media buy type of information and other things to access to get more of your refined estimates? That's all part of that project request, and or you know, making a project with the advanced options. By the way, that reminds me of that request I did. So I am apologizing. I'm missing a deeper answer, but I think it goes deeper beyond our call today, to be honest. It is a project type. So there you go. Project type would be found in your global list. And really, that is simply a list. Project type. Do we need one called digital and or media or whatever kind of type it might be? That is going to be just easy enough to add. And then you could certainly copy from a project type for that future potential new project. So that is good. Thank you for that clarification. I want to show you about that request that I did. Remember, I did that basic of things. The salesperson goes, oh, I need an estimate for this project type for digital opportunity potential. Well, I may have been sent that project request to approve, and I can find it in my Bell project requests and what ones came through. Here's principalities. And we can see that, oh, okay, salesperson Jim needs this project, and I can certainly see all her request details and I can approve it, or no, I don't want you to sell it. That'd be silly. Certainly approve it. And then at this point, that salesperson, whoever approves it, may also have the ability to quickly start that project. And is it the project type that's needing to be updated? Certainly can do so at this point. You see that the client now has already been made or will be made at this point, and in order to do a project. So let me point the difference here between that and that advanced option. This requires me to already have them as a client. Otherwise, I got to go in and add a new client, which I could do real quick on the fly, but this was already, I must have converted that to that instant win and make them a client. Remember that last stage. So just realize a project request is beautiful and easy, but it does mean that if it's not a one opportunity, we've now made this contact a client, and we may need to eventually make them inactive if they never become a client. Not a harm, just another thing to realize. So anyway, I could add that project and be ready to roll and make those estimates from this view. Okay. Otherwise, that advanced setting definitely did not require me to make them a client in order to do the main things with projects, just like you do otherwise in a regular day. I think I have covered as much as I can. Any other questions? Did I miss anybody's questions from earlier? The thing I really can't emphasize enough, and I guess I'm going to go back to little Jim employee view here. She's been working all day on her sales role. Oops, her sales today page. She had this meeting. She went to her meeting. She has finished out things, and she could simply add in some time that she has already spent on her activities, her meetings, her time with a client. And maybe I grabbed the wrong one. I set up to put in some important stuff. Here we go. So we have the project name. We may need a task of what we've been working on and how much time did we spend? Am I done with it? Or, follow up later, whatever comments. But what I'm doing here is I'm actually on my salesperson today page, putting in some time for the day through certain quick shortcuts. So just like your creatives, you're going to want to be tracking time. Is it tracking time on meetings? Is it tracking time on client records, etc.? So send in your questions. Let's kind of go back over to the webinar over here. Wanted to show, to finish out with this page and show you that we really do want to know how to reach us, how that you can follow up with additional resources for what we've talked about today. The CRM sales module certainly has its own page of several pages of info. How can we build request forms is in here, spec sheets if you want to know how to learn how to put those together. Certainly request by sending us an email at the support at workamajig.com email to request either more information of what you've heard today or that you would like a deeper dive. And otherwise, certainly go into your support guide, take a look around. There's certainly quick video access and past webinars if you want to get into another view of somebody else's, and all those stages and other modules that we looked at today. And we certainly are here for your advantage to take advantage of us for additional questions and follow-up training. Oh, there's a Q&A up here. The marketing groups, again, thank you. I'm glad I found that question, and that would be found. It's certainly going to be found in your contact records. To build it, there you go. It's your bubbles. Again, if you're not seeing everything, just click in salesperson, marketing. There are the groups, and also do I need to start a new group? To get people in there, you certainly get into that record, whoever it might be, the contact record. And if you don't see it, Let me go to the show less. Notice that you may not see everything you need. Always use show more when you're not sure, and you'll see, oh, there's other things here. And sometimes I just have to click in that pencil to get into. And it's like, why make it so hard? Contact info. Here's all our contacts. Contact preferences. Hey, don't call me anymore. You might have to update that, unfortunately. But here's your marketing groups. Add more. They have to be in your system to add more. Okay, so if you don't have the group you need, you saw how you could add a new marketing group and then go to your contacts. By the way, there's a quick way to update certain records. Do I want to, that was not in the list that I should have been in. I probably need, oh, well, that was a list that I could go and copy from, right, and export it out. But otherwise, let me go into contacts. I'll leave you with this quick view. My contacts or all contacts, probably a good one to start with. And I just have Barney in as Gem, but do I want to do a mass update? I can update it here. Contact donor, any link company names, etc. And also marketing groups. Do I want to add to another group? I can certainly do it from this mass update. Okay, so I'm sure that you've seen enough to know that you're not necessarily seeing a clear workflow. Our workflow is certainly found here, that we may start with a lead. We're going to convert them to a contact eventually as we get more opportunities. When we do a contact, are we also building a company record? Are we also building an opportunity? And end of the day, it's all in what we can sell and close out. And that is the basic summary. Other than that, you can import with API from another system in order to kind of keep up with everything. But our feeling is that if you can keep all conversations from opportunities to wins to projects to client records, you'll be that much happier and more effective, since you're not having to copy paste into other things. Okay, any other last remaining questions? I know we're at the top of the hour. Appreciate your time. I do see a new Q&A. Thank you to all for that. And you guys have any further questions, you can find us there at support@workamajig.com, as well as our chat feature, which is found in our help guide, which I will leave you with that shortcut found under your name. Open help guide, put in searches, send us questions, and even use our little quick chat. I think most of you have found those places, even found our webinars. Our recording from today will get eventually posted, hopefully by the end of the week. If not, look for it again, share it with others, look for those upcomings. I want to say goodbye, have a happy rest of your day, and thank you again for your time today. Take care. Bye-bye.